So what was that sigh of relief? You see, because I'm wearing all these different costumes and throwing things on my head that people aren't really sure of why they throw them on their head. You see, I had a little argument with my son last week, and the argument went like this. Because I wasn't allowed to talk, so I threw myself onto the floor. What else was I going to do? I had no choice but to show him what I needed to talk, what needed to say. It needs to be heard. I wear this because, like the Arabs, the air is good enough for me. I don't need a sea. At least that's the way it started. So they put it on their heads. They says, I don't need to hear. I don't need to see what's beside me, and I don't need to hear. If somebody really wants me, they'll call out to me. Excuse me, sir. And you stop in the street and give everybody the chance. Unless the street are full of those who are just saying, hey, sir, and then the wolf came out. The blood of thy father. They don't call this a potato. It comes from in the ground. But they don't call it a potato or a tomato. They have to call it a radish. Because it had to be that name, because if it was anything else, we'd probably eat more of it and get that natural blood from the earth. Where do you think that comes from? It does the same thing all over the world. You think it tastes good? No, don't taste worth nothing. I don't like it at all. This video is going to be pretty much short. And what is the problem in the States right now? Because USA in general letter count is 41. 41 is the passage, okay, of the mind. At the age of 41, that's when it all begins. That's when the mind is let go from the system. Not the system that we're in, but the general system. You're working on a generally one spirit and your intuition, okay? You were given 40 years to come out, okay, and find it. Now you couldn't. Now you're working on the one spirit again. Okay, so what it means is that U is the 21st letter, okay? It's the only vowel, okay, that adds up to a total of 3. The only other letter that adds up to a total of 3 is the letter L. Now, if you put the L and U together, in French, it would mean to read or to see. You see, now the French are going to say that's not the way you spell it. I'm not interested in how it's spelled. Right now, I just want to hear the dots and the sounds. So that's the 21st letter, and it also stands for Beta with Alpha Spirit, which means the world that was created, Beta system with the one Alpha Spirit, which means God's connect. And where does he connect? He connects by the 3 position. That's why the Dalet has the tail that goes along to the right. I did want to do a little video about the Dalet, the Gimel, the Hey, and the Vav, because when you put the Vav with the Dalet, okay, it becomes the sign for pi. And when you connect the Gimel to the Dalet, if you take a good look, it creates the letter R, okay, with an extra roof on it. It's very well designed. I've tried it 3 times in different shapes of Hebrew letters, and it worked out to the same R. That's the only letter for an angel to be. At the same time, it also turns into the Aleph, if you look at it properly. Anyways, we're not into that right now. We're doing USA, which says passage of knowledge. Okay, it's the 1 dice. Instead of connecting with the 6 dice, it's now connecting with the 4 corners of God and their world. Okay, S means spirit, and A is the angel knowledge, which is also R. The letter R, systems R, because A and R, or O and R, because the O is the water that the A came in to come here. And so you put that together, and then you say states. Unite, Ted, uni, Night Ted Turner. Okay, the reason for some names coming out, because they want you to see it. Unite Ted, they took a hold of everything all over the place. But when it comes to states, now we're screwed. Because it has an S for soul or spirit to start. Understand? Soul or spirit. Solar spirit. The sun. The solar spirit of God. The real sun. Okay? According to what I understand by Don, he keeps showing me these 2 suns lately. I'm trying to say, okay, they can no longer synchronize with the original sun. It's one sun that powers the next sun that comes in and shows us. So now that there's turbulence somewhere out in space, the two suns are not matching up. Therefore, it means your two children are now looking at each other in the face, and they don't like each other anymore. So it also represents what's going on in this world. Man no longer likes man anymore. There's more men that hate than men that like. Don't count the women. The women are all full of love. I don't care who they are. That's the way it goes. I have to go back many years. So this is like the Wild Wild West. That's the way it is. WWW, Wild Wild West. We're not in the East. We're out West. I told you all. We're in Jupiter. We're in Saturn. We're on Saturn, one of the two planets. We're just playing around. That's why I got all these moons and all these spots. Nothing's matching up. Anyways, so USA, the word states, T-A-T, okay, E, Tate, okay, estate. Estate means only a place of one. States, with the S at the end, and the two T's trapping the small a. It's not for R, it's for any letter that goes with A. J and K, Jack and King, are trapped in the middle of the two sides of Christ. So anyways, what do we have is 4 and 1? Well, we got 2 ears, and we have 2 eyes, and we have 1 brain. That's the way the general setup. 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 brain, right? B, brain, eyes, E, ears, E. We have a B. We got stung by the bee. And that's why the USA tells me that it's going to be stinging a whole lot more in honor of a system that I don't understand. They've been following the system, and it's not only the US, it's everybody. They're following the system. Okay, now I have to say literally probably, let's say it's a couple of thousand years. Let's say it's not. Maybe they weren't known to this system yet. But they wanted to test how strong this other system can bring this in. That's underneath the oceans and waters and down by the Baltic and Mediterranean. So they get man to see where man's going to go. Are you going to chase this, or are you going to chase love? What are you going to chase? Don't you know at the end when you play pool? Didn't God make the pool game? He shows you at the end regardless of what you do. That white ball is solid, and it's still on the table, and it's still a Holy Ghost. Because everybody got to use it. It went in and out of pockets. At the end, they came up by 2 ends of the table when the game started. So, you know what I'm trying to say? There's a lot more to it than just going and playing a simple Monopoly game or gambling on a simple card. When you're in a simple card game, you're taught to play one game. But in life, you can play all the games. In your own house, all alone, whatever you want to do. It's your house. You pay your tax. You must have taxes, right? States, state taxes. I mean, you repeat the states, you're already used to saying tax because there's already a state tax inside it. Turn a T sideways, it's an X. Didn't you see the last, something about Christ? He was pulling that cross, but as he was pulling it, it was on an X angle. So, anyways, now we're going to go on to the Philippines, which in the Philippines, it gives you a triple P, which tells you all 3 worlds. So now you're not trapped only in 2, you're connected to 3 worlds. Okay? It has 3 P's with total 48. 4 and 8 is 12, the L letter, meaning the queen. 1 and 2 are 3, meaning queen creation. Okay, excuse me, beta creation. Okay, it's not queen, it's beta. The queen is 26, or 62, the dog. They have 3 eyes, which say 27. It says beta God. It has 1 E. 1 S, 1 passage, 1 birth spirit. And I did the numbers, and I counted the numbers, and I counted the numbers, and I divided the numbers. But I use simple combinations, and I've come up with all the power in the world. Christ, birth, spirit of one, all explanations. The 3 worlds, the 3 parts of the 7 God, Jack, 32 passage, 3 and 2 is 5, 9, which is a birth, and then I come up with 55 and 19. So then when I divide up the word, like instead of using PH, I used an F. Okay? F means the business of everybody. But when you put a PH, it's because somebody took a hold of your PH value. 16 and 8 is 24. Somebody took a hold of your world and your heaven. because of this, which also says they heal, and the lip is pine. Pine tar is to close your mouth. So if I read this right, the Philippines are being made to be quiet. I don't know what they're getting from it. I don't know if they're working with it, but it's a force of silent by spelling it with the PH. Because they use the PH for, I think they call it philanthropical or something to do with stamps. And this is not a stamp. So you're treating the name like it's a stamp. Like it's a stamp. It's stamped and it's done. This place, this territory is taken. It's ours. We don't have to worry about these people. Now the question also comes to Indonesia at the same time, because, or the Indian people at the same time, because they wear the red dot on their head. And I know in 2 out of 3 games, 3 out of 4 games, okay, the red shows creation. So it shows the real God. See, in this world, because Beta's working with the 3 creation, if you look at horse racing, 2 and 3 are white. She is 2 and creation is 3, so regardless which way you go, you must get pink. The reason for pork, okay, and the reason the Jews aren't really allowed to eat the pork is because God knew in time that we would be porking every woman that went by. Then we'd see Porky Pig to make it fine to say pork, and we say pork and poker. So we're not looking to poker, we're actually looking to play cards. Now we're taking a chance on the game of life. The pig, the bacon, the making bacon. God didn't want you. If God wanted you to eat bacon, he knew what the name was already. He didn't want you compared to the 2. He wanted you to see the difference of the 2 bacons. If you saw one bacon was no good, wouldn't you realize that the second bacon you're making when you go out to Jamaican, right? That's the only place to be going if you're going to make some bacon, is to roll one up. So the pig was designed. Now the ribs, we're always getting poked in the ribs. So eventually everybody, you know, we're not eating the bacon, we're just eating the ribs. We're getting poked in the ribs to remind us of the ribs. That's why the ribs are out here. And you notice we can eat chicken and they can't fly. So if we can eat the chicken too, but we can't fly. Except the whole thing is we're flying all the time. The babbling balloons that we are with our mouth has dissolved into what I call incro-innocerity. Whoa. That's a whole lot of a new word, eh? It's an introduction to something that's no longer synchro. It's no longer following the same note. It's no longer following the same tune. Now you're on the piano and everything looks numb. You become like a cat, where they can't actually make out the colors. Well, of course not. If they made my eyes that way, I wouldn't be able to make out the colors either. Never mind turning the corner of a car. They did something to the cat. They changed the cat. He's supposed to see colors. Why can't he see colors and we could see colors? Is it fair? Did they take away the colors so it wouldn't change his mind of thought? Like if we only saw gray, all of us, wouldn't it be so much different if everybody looked gray? You go to a shopping center, your food is gray. You put a little color, your desires rise. Very much, thank you. I'm still going to do one on the Dalit and the walking Gimel. That was very good. I seen somebody show that was excellent. Imagine a walking Gimel. Do you know what else walks? The Aleph walks too. There's more than one walking letter. The other ones are being pulled like trains. Choo-choo, choo-choo, here come the letters. Choo-choo, choo-choo, the Latter-day Saints. Choo-choo, choo.